Hello and welcome to this episode of Hobby Banter. In this series, I aim to keep you a bit of company for around an hour. Whilst you're doing your hobby business, you can do whatever you want. For all I care, you go and clean your living room whilst listening to this. Just whatever you want. Um, Today I'll be painting up some ultramarines. Well, I won't get them finished, but I'm currently working on the metallic parts, just blocking the base colors in. I have a couple over there that are a bit further along the way, and those back there are finished, and I'll just keep them as an example. If I need to know how to paint certain areas, I can just check them and continue. Um, these three already did lower bodies. I always grab a batch and then I'll do a part on all of them, and then I'll go through them again just to make sure I don't mess things up when my big fingers are grabbing the model. So, I prepared a bit better than last time. I got some subjects to talk about today. I'm using black metal from Skill Color at the moment, and I'm just going to, like I said, block the metallic parts in. So, this past week has been a pretty good week. Since I started medication a while ago, to basically the medication is to dampen stimuli a bit. I don't feel overburdened so much. That's also a big reason why I'm able to record some videos again and put some more hobby time in. I used to just feel so burned up when the day came to an end. Like well, at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was kind of like done for mentally, not physically, but now I feel like I have so much energy. Um, and most of the days could be a bit longer. That obviously also brings new frustrations, but now it's more about thinking about solutions to get those frustrations out of the door. So what I actually plan on doing is joining a gaming club again and get more games in to get a bit out of the house, sitting inside, taking care of the kids. Um, yeah, at a certain point that the walls are becoming confining instead of giving a safe feeling, which clearly isn't good. So I should. I was thinking about stuff I could do to change that a bit, and well, playing more games, joining a gaming club sounds like well, a good solution to me. So last week I had to fix our car because it broke down, and it was the part that actually charges the battery. I'm not sure about the English name, but that broke down. On the internet I read it should take like 15 minutes to replace, so I figured, well, I can just do that. Finding the part wasn't really hard, but getting it out and getting the new part into the car actually was quite a challenge. There was literally no room to move the item in or around, so it ended up taking like 3 hours, but well, it saved a lot of money, and I fully understood what took 15 minutes. That's the actual getting the part loose and fixed the new part back in, fixing it back in. That took like 15 minutes. The whole fiddling to get it out took like 2 hours and 45 minutes. And getting a new one in. The old one clearly already was broken, so it wasn't that important that it came out in one piece. But the other one, it needed to go back in one piece clearly. So, but in the end, it's done. The car drives again. Now it's just waiting and see if it holds up. But I think somewhere in the near future we're gonna need a new car anyway, because the one we have is really old, and wouldn't be a bad thing to start looking for a new one. So today is Tuesday, meaning that this afternoon I'll be going to the speech lessons with my daughter. Yesterday she went for an intelligence test to see if they can find what's exactly wrong with her. We're thinking autism, because whenever you surprise her with something, and I don't mean a gift because then she's happy clearly, but if you surprise her with when you do something unexpected, she'll completely freak out, and that's been quite a burden over the past months. I think it's one of the main reasons that got me on edge so much. Clearly worrying about her and not knowing how to deal with it. And the stupid thing is, both my stepchildren both have autism, and it appears to be that with everybody it shows in a different way. My stepson, for example, he has the when you think of autism, he has that shape of autism, that variant. But there's a lot of different ones we are already finding out. So it's not always straightforward. With my stepdaughter, a lot of other issues arise constantly, with her feeling unwanted, and which isn't the case at all, but in her, the way she experiences life, that's the way it is, and it's kind of hard, and also hard to see, because she sometimes really suffers because of it. So she now goes 4 days a week to this special school, after school actually, to help her cope with everyday life, which is really hard on her because she's only 11, and those days are, for an 11-year-old, really long. She starts school at like 8:30 in the morning, and she'll be back home at like 7 in the evening. And for our standards over here, those are long days. Ooh, big hair. And these models have been standing around for a while, so they were a bit dusty, but already cleaned them up. But there's like little bits and bobs of dust, and occasionally a hair. on them. It's not going to be a big problem. I'll just clean them whilst I go. So where was I? Yeah, my stepdaughter. But we're hoping this special school will help her out in the long run, so she starts to feel better about herself. And something that's pretty rough is that every time we need to learn new ways to be a parent. It's not like every one of the 4 of our kids needs a different approach constantly, which you really need to be aware of, and that can be pretty difficult. But well, we'll manage. We'll deal with it. And one day they'll all be grown up, and hopefully by then they'll be happy grown-ups, and not broken grown-ups. We're doing our best. I don't think we can do well. We probably could do more, but we take classes and courses, and we have help at home, and so at a certain point, time's running out, or you just get completely burned out on all those appointments, which pretty much is the case, because there's so many of them. And they're not fun to go to. Clearly, it's not like it's a hobby for us. But hopefully, it will all get a bit better soon. So we got the lower bodies done already. Oh no, wait, there's like a little piece there. And these are the guys from that box set. I forgot the name, with the chaos in there. And the ones who are now in the new Start Collecting set. Was about time. I checked a bit, because next year I'm thinking of doing a series with hobbying on a budget. So get a fixed amount of money a month, and a hobby with that for a specific army. I'm not sure yet what would be a reasonable amount a month to use for that. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I'll do the backpack next. What I want to try is to get a start budget, which has to be realistic, clearly, because you can't start Warhammer with 25 euros or 25 pounds. But I'm thinking of doing that, and then with a monthly amount of money, expand on that army. The pound challenge, 5 pound challenge, actually got me that idea. So if you're watching, Pete, thank you. really love Pete's channel, the Mini Warzone. If you haven't checked him out, go and check his channel out after this video, obviously. So, last time I spoke about winter is coming, but well, not in the Game of Thrones way, clearly, but now it's like more like autumn is coming again, because the temperature went up a bit, and it's like around 10 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure how much Fahrenheit that would be, but it's a bit cloudy and rainy, and yeah, typical Dutch weather. I need to figure out a way how to paint this banner. The blue is pretty obvious, but and the banner pole as well, that's just going to be black. That's not going to be a hard thing. There will be some gold and some white, I guess. So, but so back to the weather. I actually like this type of weather. It's not too warm, not too cold. Then in the evening, it's nice to put the heating on and enjoy a bit. Also, sorry for that. Igor and me played our first game of Bushido, and I really have to say it's the from all the games I played, it's single-handedly the best game I played, first game of ever. It's challenging, but not too challenging, and the thing that mainly was challenging was the pretty big amount of modifiers the game uses. But it seems to be a good game. I played one game, but aha! I was just thinking I'm doing this wrong. But this whole piece needs to be metal. So basically, Bushido is with like ninjas and samurai and more like Japanese mythic creatures. That's the setting. And the game itself, it's a skirmish game. You don't need a ton of models. I think if you have 10, you'll have a lot. It's only the currency value used in the game is rice, but it's only 100, so it's 100 points. And figures range from like 6, 7 to I think around 30. So looking forward to play it again with my own warband this time. I've been a bit busy building them this week and still need to do 2 more. And then this weekend we'll get some more games in. And I'm looking forward to that. I also should not forget to bring my Necrons home, so I have an army to actually take with me to a gaming club. Will probably be the gaming club in the next town where I live next to, because in the town where I live, it's just a small town, we don't have a gaming club. I could start one, but yeah, just me. It's just me. It's not going to be a lot of gaming going on. I never really liked Space Marines, but these Primaris Marines, they are actually really good models. The shape is nice. The whole design and aesthetics of these models is really good. I really like them. And they're fun and not too hard to paint. And regular Space Marines, I've painted so many for commissions that yeah, these are better, in my opinion. You're perfectly allowed to have a different one, clearly. Just finish this little part and then I'll check my notes for subjects that I had. Oh, well, I already know one. The whole coppa thing with the FTC for child protection on internet. It's like a big thing at the moment. First of all, I actually fully agree with, even though the fine is ridiculous, but I agree that something had to be done. When you look at how a child's brain works, sometimes I question if they even work, but how it works is, especially with the smaller kids, is that they don't see the difference between a cartoon and an advertisement or a commercial video, just however you want to call it. So in the way they experience it, and it's just one really long show when you turn on the television, where we clearly define the difference between an advertisement and the actual show. Their brain isn't able to do that. That from a certain age on, I believe it's like 5 or 6 or 7 years, when they start to realize that. I'm sorry for my phone, but the sound has to stay on in case something happens to one of the kids. They'll call me, and I'll have to actually be able to answer clearly if needed. Accidents do happen. So, where was I? Oh yes, child's brain. I'm not going into too much detail on it, but in essence, that's what happens, and I don't really think that wargaming channels and hobby channels like mine and others out there will suffer from it. The reason why is quite simple. This isn't really aimed at kids. When I look at my analytics, there's no kids watching my videos, so no, that doesn't say they won't, but the danger, however, is how they noted it down, and if it's the actual text, I believe, is if it's appealing to kids. Well, toy soldiers clearly are appealing to kids, but watch some idiot paint them, I don't know if that's so appealing to kids. So when I see those channels that are really are aimed at kids, I constantly get the feeling it's like 20-minute advertisement I'm watching, with a lot of screaming and bright colors. Now I could paint up some Eandon models and start screaming, but yeah, I think it's going to beat the purpose a bit. So let me know what you think about the whole situation. I'm not that worried. And I also hear a lot of people say, well, they first need to find you, but Google has your information as a YouTuber. At least um, they sent me physical mail a couple of times, so they know where I'm at. Um, I gave it to them clearly. It's not that they're stalking me. Um, yeah, so I don't feel threatened by it. And if so, I'm already looking into solutions for that. Um, for example, I noticed that you can use I could use what's it called, Patreon, to just upload videos there and just put them on the for free tab, so everybody can just watch the videos. And then the whole problem would be solved, I guess. So, not really super worried about it. I don't know how Patreon works. Maybe I should look into it a bit just to be sure. But well, like I said, I don't really feel the need for it at the moment. So I'm hoping today or tomorrow my scenery for Bushido will arrive. I ordered a bunch last week. And I decided to do it the lazy way and just buy pre-painted scenery. It looked really nice in the pictures and super affordable. Like you play Bushido on a 2x2 board, so you don't need that much scenery. I'll order some other stuff in to make some bamboo forest like stuff, and but I'll just order that from China because cheaper. You have to be creative, haven't you? Yeah. And since I'm going to demolish most of it to make it suitable for a board, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of money for it. And I should actually whilst I was talking to one of my viewers, I realized that I still have a ton of Warhammer scenery to paint. So that might be a nice project for next year as well. Just paint up a lot of stuff. I finally continued working on my Seraptech as well. Stressed me out a bit because I misplaced some parts, but I in the meantime found them, and I continued painting a bit already. The center part of the model, the core body, is a nice way in at the moment. Let's see if I can grab it quickly. I don't know. There it is. I'll show you. So I blocked in all the metallic parts. So now I just did the last couple of arms this morning. So once it's completely dry, I can apply the non-oil wash and then dry brush the metallics. Really great model to work on. I actually want to have it finished before my birthday because I got it for my birthday last year. So I have like 2 months left, but that shouldn't be a problem since I don't have that many Necrons left to paint at the moment, so I should start thinking of what I want to add to the army as well, but it would be better to just finish everything I have first and then move on to the next group batch. As far as I know, this weekend, when this video goes live, quite a lot of books should be released by Games Workshop, so I might need a bunch of those as well. It's going to be a Kill Team book, but I first need some more information on that book if I really need it, because if it's just like a chapter approved and there's no, but the way it sounds to me right now is that it's only going to be the rules and the points in one place. Well, I don't need that, because I have an app for that where I can just get all that info from. So and the rules, I have the rule books, and I think I know them by now. Oh, mistakes can be made. So I'm gonna try and see if we can get a game recorded this weekend for a battle report. Would be nice. Could test out a 1,000 Sun list or something like that, or the new orcs I painted. So I for the Necrons I finished a second Overlord this past week, with past 2 weeks, and 11 warriors. I already had 10, so now I have 21 finished. I lost one. It fell earlier this year, and it broke off its base, and I actually was using it to record a tutorial. I'm not sure if I still have the footage though, because I just couldn't find the model. And then yesterday, whilst I was looking for the Seraptech parts, I bumped into the model. It was lying in a box with the Seraptech parts. Really, I was kind of stunned that I found it all of a sudden. You just see when you're not looking for stuff, you run into it. I think after this one, I'll take a short break. I'll just stop the camera and I'll continue when I'm back, so that they can dry a bit. I'm gonna need some new paint anyway, so I'm not sure if they're dry. I don't really want to touch them. So last week I did a poll on the channel as well, on the community tab, about what the next tutorial should be, or what actually people would like to see best. And to my surprise, that card came out quite a lot. So if you want to vote on it, no, don't vote on it anymore, because by the time this video goes out I have decided which one it's going to be. I probably have already started working on it on the mini, and I'll do that one first to not stress myself out over too much over it. That's going to be gold, so just paint the entire gun metallic. It's not really going to be a big deal. Well, as always, let me know in the comments what you're working on. Always like reading the comments, what other people are working on and what's on their mind. And you can also react to what I'm saying clearly. If you have a different opinion, or for example on the Primaris Marines, you think they're ugly or aesthetically wrong, or yeah, basically whatever. I really liked. I know a lot of people don't, but I liked the way the story progressed in 8th edition for Warhammer 40k. And I'll probably always be more like a 40k player than a Age of Sigmar or fantasy player. Oh yeah, fantasy, I can talk about that a bit. Because that's a big thing as well, obviously. Or Warhammer Old Worlds, how it's called. I'll get to that in a bit, because I'm way too scared I'm screwing this up. I am going to stop the camera for a bit and just do something else for a little bit, and then I'll be back, but you won't notice, because in the next thing I'll be back here and talking again to you. And there I am again. I'm sitting here for a couple of minutes already, and I just forgot to turn back on the camera. So I'm just doing the heads first now. But Warhammer Old Worlds. I used to play fantasy, but well, I started out playing 40k, but I at a certain point played fantasy as well, and I still feel some of the most my personal most legendary moments were in fantasy. To say that I had a really horrible army, with good reason. I played Tyranids in 40k, and they were pretty good back then. And so my demand for a fantasy army was that it was unreliable as could be, and then people in my club where I was playing back then told me, well, then you should either go orcs or beastmen, because they have crappy leadership values, which units back then still had, and now they still have it, but it just works different, and they tend to run away a lot. So I figured, a buddy of mine already had orcs, so I decided to go for a beastman army. And I have to say, the very best games I ever played were against his orcs. So, but yeah, tons of fun with that army. It got me nominated for best army a couple of times in the grand tournament. Back when we still had a official grand tournament here in the Netherlands. It's been years since we had that. I think I'm talking like 12 years or longer ago. 2006, 7, something around that course. So another one done. After this, they'll get a non-oil wash, the metallic parts at least. So, am I going to? I'm I first have to see if I'm interested in this new game. What's also going to be important, clearly, is who is going to make the models. It's going to be Forge World with or Games Workshop, because it wouldn't surprise me if Forge World is going to do it, especially with the way they brought it, with mentioning Horus Heresy, 30k in it. As far as I know, there's a couple of other good systems out there. Conquest, but I feel I don't know how much you need to play Conquest, but it looks very expensive. Not that Games Workshop is cheap, but Conquest seems to have the same or even higher prices. So and then you clearly have the Ninth Age, but when I hear of people bringing Legos as an army, I don't really feel encouraged to even think of it. I would quite simply refuse to play against an army of Legos. If I spent hundreds of hours on an army, I would actually find it insulting to have to play against Lego. Because if I want to play with Lego, I can just go downstairs and play with my kids with Lego. Not that there's anything wrong with Lego, clearly, but when I'm gonna play a game of Warhammer, I'd like to actually not play against Lego. I think if I would participate in a tournament and my opponent would have the idea to do that, he could just note down a win and I would just go home and start painting my next unit or something. I don't know. Sounds like a better plan than I would instantly leave, that's for sure. You cannot do that to your opponent, in my book. But then again, there's people who argue, no, it's about the game, not about the figures. Well, then they can keep their game. Because to me something else applies. But maybe that's the reason why I don't go to tournaments anyway, so even though I have been thinking of doing some smaller tournaments, not really interested in the big ones. Yesterday I was watching a video from Frost and Fist, and they also managed that, going to a tournament and then playing 4 games 3 times against the same list, just getting smacked off the table. Yeah, what's actually the fun in that for a casual player? When I play against people who are more competitive than I am, or that than I want to play, actually, I always feel that I'm perfectly capable of playing against them, but I'm not saying it's fun. Google starts to have a life of its own again.
Sorry, ik begrijp het niet.
You see? Google starts to have a life of its own again. I guess this was the moment they were listening. Um, but usually smaller tournaments, local tournaments, are far more casual than the bigger ones in my experience. And last time I participated in one, well, it's already I think 3 years ago or something like that. But I had good fun. So maybe I should just do that occasionally. Oh no, I did an Age of Sigmar tournament as a backup player. Somebody was sick and I got called. I believe I was still in bed because I didn't count on. They had a full roster of players, and so I really thought, I don't have to play. And then last moment, somebody calls in sick. Um, Otherwise, I would have been there earlier, clearly. But yeah, no big deal. I played 3 games, lost 3 games, had a lot of fun. Because if you go into no, I didn't lose 3 games. I actually won one. And back when I went to grand tournaments, I also went in with a mindset of, if I win 1 game, I'm happy. And I won sportsmanship award several times for the most sporting player because I didn't care. I still don't care, but if you face off against the same list over and over and over again, that's gonna get boring. I remember playing in fancy grand tournaments, and in general, there were the better armies as well: vampire counts, lizardmen, demons. At a certain point, were really good. Playing 2 games in a row against vampire counts got kind of boring as well, because by now you know what's gonna happen, and you know that one vampire dude's gonna smack your army to bits and pieces again. Because that's in general what happened with my army. But I also got to play against some dark elves who also raped my army, and dwarves, which were fun to play against. So orcs and goblins, which I still feel is one of the most entertaining armies to play against, also in 40k. The army will make sure laughs will happen, and I kind of value that. So let's see how far we are. Like 45 minutes. Check my notes. If still have one thing on there, but yeah, like I said, the big thing with Old Worlds will be for me who's gonna actually make it, because Games Workshop is reasonably expensive, but I think if Forge World will make it, I cannot explain it at home anymore. Next to that, also, do I really want to paint up blocks of 4D models again? I think if they move the whole game system back to like 5th, 6th edition, where you didn't have the huge blocks a lot, it might actually work. As for another system is clearly Kings of War from Mantic, but that's all a lot cheaper. But models, they yeah, there isn't much to say for that. They're just horrible. I think it's actually they do have the actual skills to make decent models, because The Walking Dead is also from Mantic, the game, and that's not that bad. So I don't get why the whole Kings of War stuff looks so debatable. Maybe they got better in the meantime, but I don't know. No, this one's good as well. Just the one more. As far as I know, I can use these in Kill Team as well. So that actually is a good reason to paint up these pistol dudes. I don't know if they're any good. I hope they are, because I really felt like last time playing with Primaris Marines and Kill Team that they needed a bit of a power up, because they're not really that good. So that's a last item on my list to talk about today. It's mini wargaming. I don't know if any of you actually watches mini wargaming, but I think you will. They got into they are experiencing some financial issues, and I watched a couple of response videos on that, and basically what happened is the company where they have their vault, and the vault is the paid membership of Mini Wargaming, raised their price with 1700%. So basically it meant that what they paid for a year, they now need to pay every 3 weeks. They were fair about the fact that they feel like they underpaid over the past couple of years. What I don't understand then is that, and then the company Vimeo, where they have their service at, clearly have in their rules that they can change the price whenever they think that's fair. Now, Matt from Mini Wargaming also acknowledged this, and he actually did not feel cheated by them for them raising the price. So the first thing that came to my mind then is, why didn't you anticipate on it earlier? If I know I'm going to have big expenses next year in June, or maybe 2 years after that, and that's going to be steady expenses, even though I don't know how much it is, I'll make sure I'll have some money set aside to cover it, and I'll make sure I have some monthly options to deal with it. That's actually the thing that rose to my mind. Let's make one thing really clear. I'd hate to see them disappear. I enjoy quite some of their videos. I don't always agree with what they're doing. I don't like them. I do watch Twitch occasionally, but I'm not mini wargaming. Um, I think the quality of some of their shows went down after they moved to Twitch. If I'm watching a YouTube video, I want to watch a YouTube video, not a rerun of a live show. It's not something that they can't give the same quality. Is what I feel about it. Something else about quality and mini wargaming is that, for me personally, the better content creators they had either don't make videos or don't work there anymore. So I like Quirk a lot, but he's not working there anymore. Probably because of the whole cutting back thing. And Josh, and he doesn't make videos anymore, as far as I know. Maybe I missed those videos, but so to me that's like not really helpful. Now that's personal preference, and there's nothing they can really change about it. And they removed all the their painter is gone, Chris, which also is it's a bit of a letdown, turn off. I have no idea, by the way, how I would deal with it, because I don't have a company. I don't plan on having one, so, well, not to plan on starting a small web shop, but not so much in the sense that I have the idea that I'm going to have to make a living out of it, just more like something on the side. And aimed at supporting the YouTube channel. But not much to say about that at the moment. But yeah, I would have anticipated far earlier to the higher prices. Especially if you know there's a real chance it's going to happen. And if I listen really closely to what Matt said in the video, he was. Now I'm not arguing about what they should or should not have done, because the way I understood it, their whole new building is like financed by somebody else, by a third party. Well, that person probably needs to see some money back. So you will actually have shares, or I don't know. But that shouldn't really be a problem, because I believe you only get paid for that if there's profit. As long as there's no profit or no big profit, you don't, I think. Even though I don't know how Canadian rules as far as that goes work. But yeah. But basically what they were asking is for people to sign up for their vault so that they can keep on doing what they're doing. Now, I'm not going to. Not because I don't want... not because I want them out of business, but because I feel like the quality of their product is not really going up. Over the past, let's say, 2 years. So I don't see a reason to to do that. Maybe you do. Let me know, because their subscription fee isn't even that much. It's I believe it's like transferred to euros, only at 3 or 4 euros a month, so it's not that big. But my kids need to eat as well, so I need to make choices as well. I could easily cut back a couple of euros on my hobby budget each month. Then it's Games Workshop that's going to suffer, amongst others. But maybe a thing with it is also there's so much content on YouTube that you don't really need a subscription. There's more than enough to find on YouTube to entertain yourself with. 24 hours a day. Also in the smaller channels, there's a lot of small channels that, like mine or smaller, that just bring good content. That's enjoyable to watch, enjoyable to listen to. Back in the day when they were the first and the only one, well, they could just basically do whatever they want, clearly, but it's a bit like a shopkeeper now moaning about web stores. It's quite obvious you missed the boat, and you. That's a Dutch saying, by the way. I'm not sure if it's an English or international saying. But basically, what it means is you were too late. You didn't act at the right time. And if you have a company, you need to act at the right time, I suppose. So. Yeah, there's many ways for them to make money, many different ways, and I'm sure they'll find a way. And I also understood that just leaving Vimeo wasn't a solution because other ones are even more expensive. So basically what they were doing is they were driving a Ferrari and paying for a Volkswagen. Then one day you're going to get caught. And you're going to have to pay for the Ferrari. That's just how it works, I feel. They also weren't really complaining about it, so that's a good thing. They were just realistic about it, or Matt was realistic about it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I hope they manage. I think they, even though the quality, in my opinion, did go down, they still have some great shows. So and I find their battle reports entertaining to watch. So I'm gonna stop the video now because I've been rambling on for far long enough, and I don't want to start to annoy and bore you guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know what you've been working on or what you're working on in the comment section down below. We would say thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.